You begin this journey believing your body would warn you if something were truly wrong. A fever, a sharp pain, a sudden wave of exhaustion. We are wired to trust these signals, but the frightening truth is that your kidneys stay absolutely silent, even when the danger grows louder every single year. Medical experts confirm a terrifying reality. You can lose up to 90% of your kidney function without feeling a single drop of pain. This paradox exists because the core functional tissue of your kidney contains zero sensory nerves to signal early damage. By the time discomfort actually appears, your biological filters have already collapsed under years of hidden stress. Yet, your daily routines give you a false sense of safety because everything on the outside seems perfectly normal. What looks normal outside often disguises a biological storm unfolding quietly beneath the surface. Inside each kidney, nearly 1 million microfilters, called nephrons, work tirelessly to clean your blood without any recognition. Think of these nephrons as your true life insurance. They are an ancestral gift, a fragile biological savings account given to you at birth. But here is the tragedy. Every sugary meal, every highly processed snack, and every chronically stressful night slowly withdraws from this reserve. You never feel those withdrawals until the account is nearly empty. When you finally visit a doctor and a routine blood test shows a chronic rise in your creatinine levels, you might think it is just an early warning sign. It is not. That slight rise actually means half of your entire biological savings account is already gone forever. This is why kidney disease feels like a thief that steals in the dead of night and returns nothing. It is a perfect, devastating lie told by your own body. But, hidden within this deep silence, your kidneys still hold an astonishing, almost miraculous capacity for self-repair. To understand how to heal, you first need to look at what is actively destroying them. And the answer is not some rare toxin or genetic flaw. It is the very rhythm of our modern lives. You might wonder how a perfectly normal routine of eating 3 meals a day, along with scattered snacks, could possibly crush your biological filters to the point of exhaustion. The destruction does not start with weakness. It starts with an aggressive, relentless overdrive. Scientists call this phenomenon hyperfiltration. Imagine taking a fragile balloon and inflating it to its absolute maximum limit, then deflating it and inflating it again, over and over. Eventually, the rubber stretches out. It becomes dangerously thin, loses its natural elasticity, and is ready to tear at any moment. That is exactly the kind of brutal mechanical pressure your kidneys face when meals arrive continuously, day after day, without a single meaningful pause. Every heavy bite of protein and every spike of refined sugar sends an urgent biological command. These signals force your microscopic filters to push far harder than human evolution ever designed them to. This constant influx creates a massive, relentless hydraulic pressure inside the kidneys. They are essentially being blown up like that fragile balloon, stretched completely beyond their structural limits. But the physical pressure is only the first wave of the attack. As sugar floods your system, your body pumps out insulin aggressively to manage it. While insulin keeps you alive, chronically high levels of it act as a hidden antagonist. Medical researchers have discovered that elevated insulin actually stiffens the delicate blood vessels surrounding your filtration membranes. It turns flexible, healthy tubes into rigid, unforgiving pipes. This stiffness traps the immense pressure inside the filters, transforming a gentle, life-sustaining process into a violent mechanical strain. And then comes the final blow: advanced glycation end products. Think of these as a form of biological rust. When excess sugar chemically binds to proteins in your bloodstream, it creates this sticky, destructive rust. It literally acts like hardened glue, sticking directly to your kidney membranes and physically jamming the microscopic filtration pores. Your kidneys are not just getting tired, they are being glued shut, stiffened by insulin, and blasted by hydraulic pressure until their very architecture begins to physically break apart. But what happens when you simply stop eating? When you step away from the kitchen and give your digestive system a true pause, a profound transformation begins. It is an ancient survival switch, deeply programmed into your human biology, and it flips on in just half a day. Between the 12th and 16th hour of fasting, something subtle but remarkable occurs. The constant flood of incoming nutrients stops, and your insulin levels finally plummet to their natural baseline. This single drop is the exact signal your body has been desperately waiting for. Without the aggressive demand of insulin forcing your system to hold on to water and salt, your kidneys are suddenly allowed to freely release excess sodium. Imagine opening a heavy pressure valve. As the sodium leaves, the water follows. The crushing hydraulic pressure we discussed earlier begins to drop dramatically. For the very first time in years, or perhaps even decades, your overworked microscopic filters take their very first deep breath. The relentless mechanical strain on those delicate structures finally eases, giving them a moment of pure relief. Then, the process deepens. As you push past the 16th hour and approach the 18th, your liver runs completely out of its quick sugar reserves, known as glycogen. This sudden depletion wakes up a powerful enzyme called AMPK. Think of this enzyme as the master energy switch of your entire body. Because there is no food coming from the outside, this master switch forces your body to look for alternative fuel from the inside, and it targets a very specific, highly dangerous source of energy. It attacks the hidden visceral fat wrapped tightly around your internal organs, particularly the fat stuffed deep inside the central cavity of your kidneys. This condition, often completely ignored by routine checkups, is called fatty kidney. For years, this internal fat has been physically squeezing your delicate renal arteries, slowly choking off the vital oxygen supply to your filters. But as the fasting fire begins to burn this fat away for fuel, physical space is created. The brutal mechanical compression lifts. Blood flows freely once again, delivering fresh, life-saving oxygen to starving tissues. By the time you enter the window between 18 and 24 hours, the heavy burdens have been completely lifted. The high pressure is gone. The suffocating fat is shrinking. The blood is circulating with ease. Because of this newfound relief, your entire metabolic system enters a beautiful, temporary state of profound balance. The biological storm has passed, leaving a quiet, stable environment. Your kidneys are no longer fighting just to survive the impact of the next meal. They are resting, stabilizing, and preparing the ultimate foundation for the explosive, miraculous cellular repair that is about to begin. Once you cross the 24-hour mark, the biological environment inside your kidneys changes completely. Your body realizes the immediate panic of starvation is over. The biological storm has settled, and your entire system shifts its focus from simple survival to something incredible, an internal, microscopic, deep clean. Because your insulin has remained extremely low for an entire day, a powerful cellular growth switch, known to scientists as mTOR, finally powers down. When this growth switch turns off, a highly intelligent internal recycling system wakes up. This miraculous process is called autophagy. Instead of relying on new nutrients coming in from the outside, your hungry kidney cells begin scanning their own internal environment for fuel. They start hunting down and digesting their own damaged components, the defective proteins, and the microscopic cellular trash that has been relentlessly clogging their machinery for years. It is a biological house cleaning that is long overdue. In the deeply stressed tubular cells of your kidneys, this internal renovation is a true lifesaver. But the healing goes even deeper through a highly specialized process called mitophagy. Your kidney cells require immense energy to constantly filter your blood, and they are powered by tiny cellular engines called mitochondria. But years of toxic diets and constant mechanical strain leave these engines severely damaged. They begin leaking reactive oxygen, which acts like silent, burning sparks that constantly inflame your delicate kidney tissues. During this 24 to 48-hour window, mitophagy actively dismantles these faulty, leaking power plants. It sweeps away the inflammatory sparks and replaces the old engines with younger, highly efficient versions. Your kidneys are literally rebuilding their own energy core from the inside out, cooling down the inflammation and preparing to function like they did years ago. Now, there is a strange paradox that happens during this exact window, and it confuses a lot of people. If you were to take a blood test right now, you might actually see a slight rise in your creatinine levels. Do not panic. Remember the terrifying creatinine spike we talked about in the very beginning? This is completely different. During a deep fast, a temporary rise in creatinine is just a normal physiological response. It happens simply because your blood becomes a bit more concentrated, and your body breaks down a tiny amount of muscle for energy. It absolutely does not mean your kidneys are failing. In fact, while this number temporarily shifts on paper, your actual filtration capacity remains completely stable, and the deep structural integrity of your kidneys is actively improving by the minute. When you successfully cross the 48-hour threshold, a quiet shift happens that feels almost evolutionary. Your body stops behaving like an organism simply trying to recover from stress. Instead, it begins acting like one preparing for a complete rebirth. Inside this turning point, your kidneys experience a level of biological support they rarely receive in adulthood. The daily urgency of digesting food dissolves, and a deep regenerative intelligence takes the lead. Deep inside the center of your bones, a powerful signal echoes through the marrow, urging dormant stem cells to finally awaken. But for these stem cells to safely travel to your kidneys and begin their delicate work, they need a safe environment. They cannot rebuild a house that is still on fire. This is where the true hero of deep fasting arrives. Ketones. As your fast deepens, your body produces massive amounts of a specific ketone called beta-hydroxybutyrate. For decades, scientists thought ketones were just an alternative fuel source to keep you moving. But recent discoveries reveal something much more profound. This specific ketone acts as a magnificent biological shield. It directly hunts down and neutralizes something called the NLRP3 inflammasome. Think of NLRP3 as the master amplifier of systemic inflammation in your body. It is the molecular alarm system that has been constantly scarring your delicate kidney tissues for years. When beta-hydroxybutyrate completely shuts this alarm off, the relentless biological fire finally goes out. With the inflammation falling away, your renal tubules enter a rare, profound moment of absolute biological safety. The newly awakened stem cells migrate into the kidneys, seeking out areas that were once suffocating from oxygen deprivation. Damaged, exhausted tubular cells are carefully dismantled and gradually replaced with fresh, remarkably healthy versions. The intricate, microscopic architecture of your filters is physically restored piece by piece. At the very same time, survival pathways begin adjusting your hormones toward long-term longevity. Special proteins known as FOX transcription factors step in to strengthen your DNA defenses. They wrap a protective armor around your cells, helping your kidneys withstand any future oxidative stress with incredible precision and resilience. Because the structural fatigue has decreased and the toxic inflammation has retreated, even mild protein leakage can begin to clear up. What emerges from this profound state is not just a recovered organ. It is a kidney rediscovering its efficient, younger rhythm. You are no longer witnessing simple cellular maintenance. You are witnessing the magnificent architecture of renewal taking shape inside your own body. If you have followed this profound journey of renewal, you might feel ready to celebrate. But there is one final, critical test. The absolute biggest risk to your kidneys, the one thing that can completely destroy all the miraculous healing you just achieved, does not happen while you are fasting. It happens the exact moment you decide to take your very first bite of food. This dangerous trap is known in the medical world as refeeding syndrome. After hours or days of deep cellular repair, your metabolic system is extremely sensitive. If you break your fast by suddenly rushing in with a heavy meal, especially one packed with carbohydrates and sugars, your pancreas will release a massive, aggressive surge of insulin. This sudden spike forces your cells to violently pull in water and crucial minerals all at once. It creates a brutal shock to your system. Your electrolytes shift so rapidly that it can literally destabilize your heart rhythm and completely overwhelm those vulnerable, newly reborn kidney filters. You are essentially hitting a carefully rebuilt biological engine with a sledgehammer. So, how do you safely land this biological flight? How do you protect the fragile architecture of renewal that your body just worked so hard to build? You must reintroduce food with deep respect and patience. You start incredibly gently. A warm cup of rich bone broth to slowly wake up your digestive enzymes. A small portion of soft, easily digested vegetables. Perhaps a very modest piece of clean protein a few hours later. You absolutely must avoid heavy carbohydrates right away. During this delicate transition, your kidneys rely on a steady, calm balance of fluids. You must hydrate with pure intention. It is vital to actively replenish your essential minerals, specifically sodium, potassium, and magnesium, because the fasting process temporarily redistributes them. Give your body the time it needs to comfortably and safely shift back into digestion mode. Remember this fundamental truth as you move forward. Fasting is never a punishment. It is never an act of starving or torturing your body out of guilt or obsession. It is a highly intelligent, beautifully orchestrated cycle of stress and recovery. Your kidneys do not flourish when you simply push yourself to fast for the longest time possible. They truly heal when you fast intelligently and when you refeed with absolute respect for your biology. The incredible repair of your body begins much earlier than you think, but it only lasts when it is done wisely.